Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, I am SocioPsycho, and today I bring you a 8-bit game, Cloaks and Spells. This is created by Scene, currently available on Desura and in Greenlight on Steam. Should you just be interested in one topic, check the video bar, as that's what it's there for. Is the game good? Is it bad? Well, let's jump in. And unfortunately, the first thing is that it's only on PC. The developer has stated that next year, after a launch on Steam, he hopes to bring it over to Linux, but it doesn't have any experience in the Linux platform, but it is a desire of his to expand the goals and wishes for your patience. When we go into the options, you have a nice variation of choices in between which keyboard or game control you want, and you can also rebind all the keys with ease. This is really appreciative, goes back to the roots of gaming, and it's retro. Many people will enjoy an old-style feel of an 8-bit challenge game that has a good puzzle and platforming atmosphere to it. Now, it has also difficulty settings, old school, no save points, casual, piece of cake, and normal. The game is fairly challenging without being too aggressively hard. Me personally, 8-bit games aren't my forte, but I can definitely see the appeal and the desire to have harder challenges and even rogue-like elements in the game. Full screen, running at 1920 by 1080 with no issues whatsoever, no tearing, clipping, or crashing. The game has been running at 30 frames per second with ease. It's an 8-bit game. There's really not that much going on, and it looks fine. And the music is pretty much what you would expect. Now, you can load up into one of your games, should you have a load game. When we go into here, we'll look at the UI first, and as you can see, there is different things to point out. Now, as you go through and you unlock chests and find loot and kill enemies, you will come across coins, and these coins you can eventually buy potions, items from a merchant, as well as you will collect little talismans which will be used as resurrections. You can also see in inventory any potions you picked up, as well as the availability and the ease to easily rebind any keys if you wish it. On the top you have your spells that you can rotate through, and your health bar. Now, why am I bringing you a game in alpha, and an 8-bit game nonetheless, that you may be thinking? Well, it's not the first time I've brought you an 8-bit game, and it won't be the last. And as I've stated before, if I feel a game is done correctly, and that it has potential, and that it's going to excel, then I'm going to bring it to you even if it's an alpha, that way you can know about it. And this game fits those parameters. It keeps the atmosphere of a nice, sleek 8-bit character without being too blurry or harsh on the eyes in any fashion. The mechanics of the different characteristics is very easy, and it has a good balance in between the puzzle element of a game and the combat aspect of a game. Now, the puzzles in the game aren't anything that's overly mind-blowing, and they don't need to be. The aspects of the game which create a puzzle are things that are simply, do you need to cast a spell to stop a patrolling monster onto a platform which will open a gate? Or do you need to rotate certain puzzle items so that a fireball will bounce off these different items and you'll be able to open a gate? There is a good combination of different types of puzzles in the game, as well as how it makes you utilize your spells in being able to accomplish some of these, and it's very generous in the mana and the health. I've never found that while I'm going through the game that, oh, I'm running out of mana, or oh, I don't have enough health. You can't use mana and spam it as an ability, as you do have a mana pool, and it doesn't regain over time. When you defeat enemies or come to a mana shrine, you will be able to receive mana as well as health from most of the creatures. This is really nice because it says, hey, you need to keep track of what you have and not just blow through your items, and use them when you feel you absolutely must. Now, it doesn't do so in the fact that, oh, I'm being bombarded by so many enemies or different types of creatures that I need to be using magic so much. It's very balanced, and it's very well done to the point where magic doesn't feel like a get out of jail free card. When you do use it, it has its moments and it is enjoyable and it feels heavy, but it's not something that you need to abuse, and the system doesn't abuse the fact that you can't use it too much. Tied into how the level design is. The levels are fairly large actually, and there's many different ladders and pathways, and one section will trigger something, will open up another section. and you have to go to that new section to get a key to open up a door in another area. The maps are done very nicely. The level design is done really well, so it rotates the game around and it never really feels as if it's dragging on or getting mundane. I had a lot of fun playing this game, far be it I'm not all that good at it. As I've stated previously, 8-bit style games just are not my forte. I don't have the right skill to play those games, dodging isometrically. But the balance of the different creatures that you come across, how whether it be a undead skeleton mage or a undead skeleton with a sword and a shield, a mummy or a boss, there's enough creativity with all the different types of monsters to make you feel like you're not reusing the same content and it's actually progressing forward in a fun manner. It's very simplistic. Even the music in the game feels old school, but not to a point where it's just crazy with this 8-bit music. Now, some people like 8-bit music, and that's perfectly fine. But my personal opinion is that it just goes a little too much with unclarity, and it irks on your ears. I have not had that issue with this game. I found the music to be very well balanced in its tone and performance, and I've been impressed with what I've been able to see. And I'm glad I was able to come across this game and play it, because for what it does well. The puzzles are very well integrated, and there is enough difference in those puzzles that it requires you to use your brain, but it's never anything that's overly complicated. Look at the patterns, follow where you need to, make sure you're on traps or triggers, or have weight on traps and triggers, move boxes here and there, climb different things. It has a nice variation of where you feel you're continuing through the level without repetitiveness. The combat as well is not something that is abusive to you, as you can easily hit your opponents with your mace or cast a spell without any real issue. The level design is great, and I look forward to this game getting on Steam. I think that many people will enjoy it, and I gladly recommend and support this game should you enjoy the art style or the Renaissance feel of the game, taking it back to the old school. Thank you for listening and watching, everybody. I have been SocioPsycho, and I'll see you next time.